Please, could you take your seats, please, here, because we are about to start. Good morning, everybody. Hello. How was yesterday? Yesterday party? Yeah, okay. Thumbs up. That is what we like. Woo. Somebody's still in the disco. So thank you for joining us here today on the second and unfortunately the last day of CIHT conference. Yeah, the time goes by really quickly, but we're going to have a nice time today as well as yesterday. Are we? Guys, give me some energy. Yeah. Okay, so welcome back to the second day of the Jubilee 10th edition of CIHT Conference. As you already know, for the last 10 years, we are really doing a hard work, and today the CIHT Conference is one of the most important global conferences dedicated to health tourism, and definitely the most important and the most successful regional one. That's what we are especially proud of. So I'm greeting you all from Crikvenica Tourist Board, the Kvarner Health Tourism Center as the organizers, and the special hospital for medical rehabilitation of the Primorje-Gorski Kotar County, Thalassotherapia Crikvenica, and the Polyclinic Terme Selce as the co-organizers. As you already know, we are running in a hybrid form. That means that I'm greeting all of you who are here in person in this room, but also I'm saying hello to our online viewers who are watching us online in their homes, in their offices, tablets, iPads, I don't know, mobile phones. So hello from the other side, and hope to meet you someday in person as well. Maybe next year in Crikvenica. It's really hard to transmit that energy online, so please come next year and join us here in this very room. Okay, let me thank also to the sponsors. Jadran Galenski Laboratory, a Croatian pharmaceutical company with global success and recognition. The Ministry of Tourism and Sport, Ministry of Health, Primorje-Gorski Kotar County, Croatian National Tourist Board, Kvarner Tourist Board, Croatian Chamber of Economy, and the city of Crikvenica. And that's about it for this brief introduction, and now we're gonna start. We're gonna start with the right topic, and that is by putting patients in the focus and as a highest priority. The topic of this first session is medical tourism and patient expectations. So let me welcome our first speaker of the day, Mr. Sandeep Sharma, who, did I pronounce it well? Okay, who joined us here all the way from United Arab Emirates, and he's the Executive Director and Global Lead of Marsh Healthcare, a consulting firm focused on healthcare strategy, quality improvement, and transaction advisory services. Sandeep, the stage is waiting for you. Please join us.
Good morning, everyone. So first of all, thank you for being with me after a fantastic gala dinner. I know it's easy and difficult for some, but bear with me for 15 minutes. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening to people online. Thank you for being with us. I will take a quick minute to say it is an honor to be here and speak in front of all of you. So my special thanks to the organizers and the sponsors, and of course, Vladimir, Alfred, Dora, and the whole team for having us here. So very quickly, I'm going to talk to you about how things have changed after the pandemic in terms of the patient's expectations or the patient's experience that we see as an advisory firm when we work with clients in different geographies. So with the government, with hospitals, with facilitators, with different people. So we're here to share our views on how patients have different expectations after the pandemic. So can I get a clicker to... Okay. Okay. So first, let's start by seeing what COVID actually did to the patients or the world. So as we all know, it, of course, devastated healthcare provision. It kind of did so much bad to the economy, the travel sector. It changed so much in terms of the socioeconomic factors globally, which of course leads to the fact that with medical travel, a lot of businesses got shut, a lot of businesses got destroyed, a lot of businesses are still finding their way out. Okay, something's wrong with my slide. Well, okay. little problem. Okay. Thank you. That was it. There you go. Good point. Led the world into darkness, as you see. Of course, night after day, day after night. Okay. So yes, so basically what I was trying to say is while it did a lot of bad things to the economy, to the medical travel sector, but I want all of us to focus on the good things that the pandemic did for a few minutes. So let's look at them. One of the most important good impacts of COVID was, I think, it made the world more hygienic. And in fact, I was talking to a few of my friends who are investors in healthcare, and they said, you know, the market is so bad, we should have invested in this, we should have invested in that. I said, guys, you should have just invested in sanitizers, and you would have made so much profits, you know, because look what it did to the world. So yes, it made the world more hygienic. Because it slowed down our fast-paced life, it slowed down the day-to-day, I think we all got better connected. And because we got connected via digital platforms. So in the context of healthcare, we got more connected with the healthcare tech side of things, which means, you know, because the tech side got more focused, patients also became more aware because they started reading more, they started understanding more what's going on, what they should do. And of course, it made a lot of governments, private sectors, everyone realized the shortfalls that all of us had within ourselves or as a system or as an entity. So we still see organizations trying to bridge those gaps. We still see governments trying to bridge those gaps. We see some governments who have done it very well, paced it very fast. So now putting all the bad and the good into the perspective of a patient, let's see how it looks from the point of view of a patient. So what we see now is when we talk to patients, be it local patients, be it medical tourists, for everyone, price, infrastructure has become secondary. The first thing patients look at is safety. So we have Janine Blumenthal, who is a known, renowned travel bloggist and hospitality expert, and she says brand loyalty will hinge on safety above everything else, a factor consumers will likely prioritize well into recovery and beyond. So what does that tell us? Now, if I go more into that thought, what we realize is consumers now trust sources which give them the right information about safety more than anything else. So our friends from PwC did a survey where they sort of interviewed a bunch of patients from different parts of the world to see a few things on the shifts. And one of the key questions asked there was, what do you look for as a reliable source when you talk about safety or when you talk about travel choices? And here are the answers. They talk about CDC, they talk about state governments, they talk about a lot of known, renowned organizations, which means now if patients are looking at these things more than the TripAdvisors or more than the flight ratings or more than the hospital ratings themselves, it means that patients are naturally more focused on safety now, as they would not be earlier. If I dive more into this survey, we also ask, PwC also asked consumers, when you're looking at hotels and airlines, especially with the travel restrictions lifted, what is the things that you look for? And of course, price remains number 2, but if you look at loyalty, loyalty is the last. And the most important thing for them now is the trust. And when I talk about trust, it is not about the brand, it is not about the program or the marketing activities, it's a lot to do with safety. So I think that tells us an important lesson to all of us that patients are slowly moving towards the safety factor as the brand differentiator for them, which of course encompasses cleanliness, hygiene, the measures that we all are taking to promote safety. Now, that's how patients look at it. Now, when I talk about these things from the point of view of us, which is the people from the healthcare industry, which is hospitals, the governments, people from the medical tourism industry, people from the pharma industry, and all the sub-industries of healthcare, which of course includes the following people, the governments, the hospitals, and supporting stakeholders. So what we have realized through different projects or different communications that we've had around the world, that of course the government and the hospitals play a key role, but it is a lot to do with other stakeholders as well. So very quickly, if I have to sum up this slide, our expectations from the government can be anywhere between having them as a guiding light to tell us where they should focus on and what they should do, because I was having a chat with someone yesterday and I mentioned that there are some countries where the government drives a lot of initiatives and the private sector just implements them. But there are countries where it's the private sector which drives things and the government just supports, you know. So in many different ways, the government and the hospitals have their own roles to play, but more importantly, it is the people. And when we change our approach from a national approach or an enterprise approach of a hospital and think of it from a patient or a person's point of view, there are a lot of things which we should do differently. And of course, it has supporting stakeholders. So what I'm trying to make, the point that I'm trying to make is all of us, in whatever capacity we do, whatever we do, hospitals or clinics or the government or pharma company, we all have to put safety at the center stage of whatever we do. And in summary, safety is going to be the new brand differentiator. So now let's talk about what do we do, depending on whatever we do, to bring in these changes. So one is, we have to first relook at our patient journey. For example, if I'm a hospital, I have to look at, right now, what are the types of patients coming to me? What am I doing good? What can I do better? Based on that, we look at then redesigning your whole, the whole delivery channel in terms of what I should do differently now to put safety at the center stage. And with that, of course, look at a lot of risk mitigation protocols. And then marketing should come, because we see a lot of organizations say, we're doing good at this, we're doing great at this, we're just not marketing ourselves well enough. But is it really the marketing approach that you should take, or is it an approach where marketing is important, but you should start from the point of view of giving patients or giving your customers what they really need versus what you think that you should give them? So if I have to just expand on these 3 points a little bit, well, this is something what a patient map looks like. This is something which we do for our clients to build their patient experience infrastructure, enhance it, or remodel it. So now when we do that, we, of course, map the different stakeholders who are responsible within the whole chain. And we see that a lot of hospitals in different parts of the world have a lot of these role gaps. Some hospitals say that certain things are responsibility of administration. Some say this is something which operations should take care of. Some say this is something which clinical should take care of. But whatever it is, you need to right now work on going through all the steps of your patient cycle and then look at what are the right ways where I put safety in the center of it, and then walk through all the steps and then connect all my stakeholders in a way that safety is not compromised at any stage. And when I say safety, a lot of people say that it's the doctor's responsibility. No, it is as much as responsibility of an admin staff, as much as the responsibility of the guy who's doing your billing, or even the guys in the cafeteria. So it's everyone's responsibility. You cannot say that it's the clinical team. So that's, I think, the first step. Relook into your whole cycle of patient experience and then do a stakeholder mapping in terms of who should do what to ensure that the message of safety or the trust of safety is retained. Now, once you've achieved that, then I think you need to focus on having a more connected delivery model, which of course will encompass a risk mitigation program. So when I talk about new service delivery, you have to look at how can I focus on safety. And these days, we see a lot of hospitals who tell their patients, you know what, don't visit us. You don't need to come to us. We'll just do everything for you online. And that kind of makes patients feel that this hospital is not commercial or just trying to make money out of us, but they genuinely care. And because they genuinely care, they're okay to have us online. Of course, if it's secondary and tertiary care, it's a different story. But with the primary consultation, a lot of hospitals are doing this, and that's actually gaining the patient's confidence more that, okay, I have a hospital who's telling me, don't visit me, and we'll take care of everything. Also, hospitals need to give patients the comfort that If you're not comfortable with us, you can have a second opinion and come back, because ultimately we have to remember that, whatever facility you have, whatever devices you have, whatever doctors you have, patients have to psychologically feel comfortable around you. And for that, it is very important to give patients the right information as much as you receive it from someone. For example, in the previous slide, I mentioned that CDC is one of the key trusted sources for patients. So hospitals themselves, when they are developing their service delivery model, they should look at what is CDC saying, what is WHO saying, because at the end, the patient will look at that before they visit us. So how do we make sure that the patient relates those things or factors in our facility? And then we work around that. And of course, for that, the center of safety is about risk mitigation protocols, which means, continuously looking at whatever changes are happening, because I think we all realize the pandemic is a very tricky thing. We feel comfortable, and then suddenly it's in the news that there's a new variant and travel might be affected again. So I think we need to make patients feel that we are very informed of what's happening without neglecting or waiting till the government imposes few restrictions or changes. We need to be the ones to tell patients that this is what's happening in the market. This is how we are, and you can trust us, and we will take care of all those things which might be a concern for you. And a lot of things around education of the staff, because as I said, a lot of hospitals, we see only the clinical team or the key operation people trained for the patient safety side or the patient experience side. But I strongly feel that the ground staff, the blue-collar guys, everyone in the hospital or the clinic needs to understand that you all have to come together as a unit and ensure the patients have that satisfaction in whatever area of the hospital they are or whatever service they're kind of availing from the hospital. And finally, of course, based on those things, you have to plan your whole marketing strategy, which means rather than being very sales-centric, that we have this, we can give you this discount, we can do that, we can promote this, you have to imbibe the fact that patients understand that, yes, you are enterprising, but at the same time, safety, the right experience is at the center stage. And when you design marketing plans around that, you yourself start realizing the things you need to change from the sales-centric approach that you've had earlier. As I said previously, engaging patients with the right valuable content, because a lot of times we share our facility, what we're doing as an organization, the number of beds we have, and the fancy things we have, but I think a lot goes into telling patients what are we going to do this year, what are we going to do in the long term to ensure that, we are promoting or doing the right things which will build their confidence with the right experience. And of course, the obvious answer to that is accreditations and certifications. Now, we as an organization help a lot of hospitals, clinics, entities understand what accreditations they need. And especially after the pandemic, in certain geographies, we see that people are suddenly focused on accreditations more than ever before. And they don't do it because they want a certificate on the wall, but they actually want to imbibe a lot of those things into their day-to-day. So I think that's a good starting point. Now, I just have 50 seconds left, so what I will do is, on the last slide, I just have put a map of the whole planet into 3 parts. You see, okay, there's a transition missing. Okay, so the countries that you see in orange are the countries which we feel are highly inbound dependent countries. The countries that you see in gray are countries where patients travel to or travel out of for treatments, and the countries that you see in green are the highly dependent countries for seeking medical travel or seeking medical treatment outside. So I think what I'm trying to say by this map is each region has its own dynamics. If you're a country who is an inbound country, whatever I just discussed should be one of the biggest priorities for you, because you want to attract more people with the right comfort and with the right service delivery. If you're somewhere in the blended, you need to work both ways. You need to look at what I can deliver to patients to grow my inbound services, but at the same time, even if patients are traveling outside, what is it that I can do to make sure that at least when they travel outside of our country, they feel safe? And that's, I think, where the government has a lot to do. And the countries in green, of course, need to work very closely with inbound countries to see that if I'm sending a patient from my country, they should be accepted in a certain country by having the basic risk mitigation protocols in place. So that's all I have to say, but in summary, what I would like to say is we need to realize that patients are much smarter than they were before the pandemic. Patients are more aware. Patients are more informed. And at some point, we need to respect that, build that, and imbibe that as a factor for building the right confidence in the patient. So that's all I have to say. Thank you. There you go.
You hear me? Yeah. Mr. Sandip, are you going to announce the next speaker? Yeah, I think that was your part, according to the
Sorry.
deal.
So I don't know this guy well, but I will still call him on stage. My dear friend Ilan Giva, who is the president of Ilan Giva and Friends, and also the director of strategy at Vimarsh Healthcare and the head of US office. And I think the man needs no further introduction. All of you, I can see the smile on all of your faces. So Ilan, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am definitely one of those people that can say with confidence that it is a pleasure for me to be here. And I'm here, I don't know, fourth, fifth time, I can't remember after last night. But the bottom of it is that, first of all, thank you for inviting me again. I feel like I'm coming home here with all these dear friends that I have. I even dance here. My wife doesn't see me dance, but here I dance. So I'm going to talk today about some thoughts that I have, and I hope this will go forward. Yes, it does. I'm going to talk about thoughts about penetrating marketing, penetrating ideas, how to go into markets. And basically what I'm saying to all the doctors that I meet, if you are serious about healthcare and wellness, because I include wellness in all the services that are being provided today, are you thinking like a marketer? Not just like a doctor, but a marketer. You're in business to make money, and you have to understand what marketing is all about. Do you consider your patients consumers, customers? It's important. Do you care what they think about you? Because sometimes, you know, doctors have that kind of an attitude that, well, I'm the best doctor in the world. I don't care what people think about me. Do you want them to come back? Now, it may sound like a paradox that you don't want people to be sick again and come back. But at the end of the day, they can still use word of mouth and recommend other people to you. How do people think generally, not just about healthcare? The brain has three major functions: automatic reflex, the perception of sensory stimuli, and the cognitive thought process. Now, when we're talking about marketing, perception takes in without necessarily noticing, like in the famous blink concept described by Malcolm Caldwell. Only the cognitive function is tied to language. All the other functions are not. Ideas, reasons, logic are easily put into words, and emotions, images, and sensations are not easily expressed. Now, this is not science, but marketers, which are not really science people, have to know and understand all that, and a marketer has to understand it, because not every ad and not everything you put on TikTok is really working. The implications for understanding your consumer: wellness and healthcare brands are dynamic, and what they represent depends on what connections are fired up at any moment in your brain. Long-term operated exposure to a stimulus creates a hard-wired connection in the brain. These are long-lasting things, long-term memory. And then cognitive learning sometimes influences attitudes and decision-making. But at the end, almost every brain response contains an emotional, component. So the whole emotional element in marketing is extremely important to remember and understand. So, to understand the consumer behavior, it's important to investigate both rational and emotional thinking about your brands, about what you say out there. Now, if you really want to know more, you have to ask questions. Don't assume. Don't think that you know everything. You have to ask questions, but you have to also know how to ask the questions. So, for example, know what you're trying to find out. You must have an objective. Every research that anybody does must have an objective at the end. You must get something out of it. Use a layered questionnaire approach, and we're going to get into research methods here, but the whole idea is that you are using it in a methodological way. And then ask direct questions. For example, use for straightforward, factual questions, or try to get rational and logical responses. You know, one of the things that I see many times in focus groups is that people are trying to be the smartest person in the room, which means that they're not necessarily giving you the right answer. They just want to be smart and look good. So, for example, which medical features are most important to you? It's a very direct and simple questions. What do you like about destination X? What do you dislike about it? You know, many times people approach me and say, you in medical tourism. What is the best country for medical tourism? Huh? How can you answer that question? Okay. New batteries? What do you think? Okay, so here's an example of things that we are using artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence has the ability to answer a lot of questions. The list that you see on the right here are some of the things that many people are interested to know, and the kind of answers that we can get are about the clinical outcomes, press mentions, social media, medico-legal cases, publications and research, awards and honors, and on and on and on. Very, very detailed things that normal research may find very hard to achieve, but with AI, you can definitely get the answers. There are some techniques for understanding emotions and imagery, and I'm not going to get into detail in it, but I'm just going to give you a simple example. When it comes to wellness, you have two pictures here. People put pictures on their websites, but they really don't understand what those pictures will do to people. So if you look at the pictures on the left, what is the first thing you think of? Oh, massage parlor, sex, right? The picture on the right says, this is the Canyon Ranch. We are a 5-star wellness resort. You pay a lot of money, you get a lot for it. There's a very big difference here. So when you choose a picture on your website, think about the emotional effect that they will have. What are patients hearing these days? And it's somewhat repetitive with what other people said already, but costs are up, COVID is still here. It's not over. There's less available staff in many places. And we get conflicting messages all the time. One day, this government says this, another government says that. We have instructions for one country and different instructions for another country. Very confusing. Customers today are different. They're not the customers of 2019. They have fears, anxieties, concerns, and they have different expectations. And that's very important to understand. 66% of customers expect you to understand their needs before they even come to your place. Think about that. That was something that didn't exist before. So, can you put yourself in your patient's shoes? Can you communicate effectively? So how do patients make decisions about travel? The percentage here just shows different things, different attitude about traveling. 22% of patients will reduce the time between the decision to travel and the actual date of travel. It's very flexible today, and there is less available flights out there. Think about that. Now, how do patients make other decisions about the travel time? Before COVID, people were willing to fly 10 hours. After COVID, 4 hours is kind of the average that they're willing to spend on an airplane and in the airport and with other people close to them. Now, back in 2012, I basically looked at medical tourism and I said, this is not a global business. I'm sorry, but it is regional. It is much more so after COVID. In other words, if I'm talking about the travel time of 4 hours, look where you can go in 4 hours. It's regional. This is not flying from the US to Malaysia. That's not going to happen. So patients are also afraid to fly long distances, but when they do get to a place, they really want to have a cultural match of same-like people on the other side. So in terms of culture, the Koreans are getting much more either Koreans from other countries or Asian people from the region that they can at least understand each other culturally. And the same thing happens in South America. How do patients relate to medical services and insurance? Because that's included in the package. Trust. What is trust? Trust is basically based on established brands. If you have a brand and the brand has a reputation, people trust that brand and they trust the reputation. If you don't have a brand, you just have a real estate, you know, something that people can come and go. A little building with a sign that says clinic. Now, I love those people. The facilitators. I'm not saying that the facilitators are gone. Some of them are still around and they're very good, very trustworthy, and they're doing a fantastic job. But we used to see before COVID multitude of these kind of guys that were just eager to sign you on paper, get the money, and send you off without anything guaranteed. So this is an area that is definitely being examined very carefully. How do patients relate to medical tourism destinations? This is relating again to, did you beat COVID? Okay, if your country was successful in beating that disease, how many countries have actually beat COVID-19? Nobody has the answer to that, but some countries are better known for dealing with the whole problem than other countries. How do patients relate to destinations? Continued, are your institutions COVID safe? What did you actually do in order to make your place safer than what it was before? Now, everybody's talking about telehealth and telemedicine and all that. In the US, 46% are already using it, but do they use it for international medical tourism? That's a very big and valid question. Will they use telehealth if you offer? Okay, will the customers use it if you offer it? So the other question is, what are you going to use it for? For initial diagnosis, for second opinion, for follow-up review, for long-distance consultation, therapy? There are many different models for using telehealth, but the question is, what will you use it for, and how effective will you be when you do it? Because it's not just, I have the technology. So finally, I want to give you some generic advice about business. That is good for every business, not just medical tourism, any business. So remember that any brand is built on the following simple foundations. Of course, when I say simple, it's simple for me, but it's not simple for a business to adopt and make it work. Number one, emotional. Create experiences which involve customers personally with your brand. The whole thing should be personal, intimate, and build trust. Process. This is not going to happen overnight. It takes a long time, but you have to start somewhere. The second thing, social. And when I say social today, I mean we are all connected. It's very obvious. Create experiences which give social benefit for your loyal customers. Access to information, networks, and other unique benefits. And this is something that everybody can do, and it doesn't really cost much. You just have to know what to do, think about it strategically, and try to do it in a slightly different way from your competition. The next point is structural. Create experiences which make it harder to leave you. People will think twice before they say, oh, I'm going to go to the competition because they're cheaper. No, make it hard for them. Make the customer fall in love with you. Now, that's something that, you know, in some countries, it's easier done than in other countries just because the nature of the people are warm, friendly. They're happy when they see you. In other countries where the culture is a little different, doctors could be very cold. Nurses could be very cold. Very efficient, but very cold. And that makes a big difference. So when you make people fall in love with you, you have to really consider your hiring process. What kind of people are you hiring to face customers in your clinic and your hospital? And the last thing, financial. We all talk about, oh, we are cheaper than the other country, and we compare. Everybody compares prices to the US, which is completely illogical. Create experiences which create a clear financial benefit for your customers to stay with you. Here I'm talking about value. Okay? I'm not just talking about monetary things, but I'm talking about value perception. Also rewards you financially at the end of the day. So it's very important to remember how to handle the financial, which becomes in a way part of the emotional process and the deep connection that you have with your clients. 5 seconds, guys, I was right on time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, especially for respecting the time and for all of your advices and experience. Thank you.
You introducing Mr. Bagatin?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Or you should. Yeah, okay. We can do it together.
Friend, Onion Bagatin, where are you? This is one of the best examples of how you can be successful in Croatia in medical tourism and understand business. That's it.
Wow, what an introduction. He's also the former moderator of CIHT conference, so now I'm the moderator and you're being smart.
You're better than me.
Yeah.
Just to say this. Hello, everybody. Just a clicker here. You know this guy. Great to be here and to have an opportunity to speak at this conference. I think yesterday and today we learned a lot of things. Something that I want to share is that the world is shifting in a way that we need to adapt, and from doctor focus we're going to the patient focus. Just a couple of things about myself, because Ilan said the branding is very important. So I'm a co-owner of Bagatin Clinic, a director and owner of Synthesa Clinic. I'll share later a bit about that. I'm also a consultant for 20 plus clinics in Croatia and all over Europe in healthcare management, in growth management and medical tourism. And I learned a lot of things from our speakers, Ilan, Irving, Elizabeth, and so on. And I'm in an advisory board of the largest aesthetic clinic in Romania that wants to be a leader in Southeast Europe. Now we're opening 2 new clinics in Romania, and Iași and Brașov as we speak. And I'm very passionate about entrepreneurship. So that's why I'm also an owner of Entrepreneurial Magazine, and we organize conferences, Entrepreneurial Mindset. Entrepreneurial mindset is open mindset, so something that I want you guys to be from, to receive all this information we received from our speakers today. And also, I do a lot of things with the great teams. I like to be in great teams. Organize a Green Future conference. So this is also something that's in future, and I learn a lot about the trends that are coming. Co-organize a conference, Green Future, in Split, powered by Rimac. Okay. Also, I'm a proud owner of this award, this acknowledgement that I received yesterday, which I didn't know about. So this is even sweeter, and thank you. I miss you. I'm glad to be part of this group of people, professionals, family. And congratulations to everybody who received it yesterday, because I really think you deserve it. So enjoy this moment. Thank you very much. Okay, so we talked about a lot of things today. But I think we need to talk about the biggest problem is this phrase, and we need to have courage to change this, because the world is shifting. The problem is, are we shifting accordingly? So we always done it this way. This is something that I use always, and always try to question: are we optimizing? Are we improving what we do? Or are we too busy and continue doing it like we always did it, because it's easier? So the world is shifting. The digital technology is coming, and what are we going to do? So this is something that is definitely up to us. No government, no anybody. So this is something that we need to think about. Are we continuously improving our organization? So our departments, our processes, the way we talk to our patients, the way we talk to our employees, our colleagues. 1% a week is a big win for everybody. 1% a month is a great improvement. So this is something that drives me, which is, I will never reach this, is that if we don't have 100% satisfaction, you must improve. So what I want to teach you, you always need to improve. There's always something better that we can do if we listen to our clients, our patients, and our colleagues. Because world is shifting, world is changing, and what got us here won't get us to the next stage in our development. So this is a very good book. I want you to read, to listen. I listened to Audible, so I listened it 10 times. So the patient will see you now. So this is the hybrid future Erm was talking about. So this is already here. If we don't want to admit it, but this is here. And just imagine what if the patient is the single most unused person in the healthcare? Do you agree? Yeah. Raise your hands. Who agrees? Okay. There will be less and less restriction to patient involvement. Who agrees? Okay. I have a groupies here. Thank you. Digitally empowered patients will truly take charge of their own health care in the future. Who agrees? And patients will have much more power to diagnose themselves. How scary is this? How scary is this? I have on my watch is following something that 10 years ago wasn't possible. You had to go to the doctor to get all this data. And it's here, on my wrist. And it's only going to improve, get better. And the power, technology will shift the power from the doctor to the patient. This is happening. Somebody can say, no, this is never going to happen. I will have more work. Yes, but it will change. So, and you need to understand that this is going to happen. And mobile technology will only further decrease to need to go to the hospitals. So hybrid work, telemedicine, although it's not here yet, people are getting more and more of these services. And yesterday we had opportunity to listen Maria from Cleveland Clinic, which you must understand. It's an honor to get them here all the way from US and to share that knowledge, the culture of Cleveland Clinic, which is really amazing. So read these three books. It will change your life and how you think about the healthcare and the service, what kind of service we provide. One of the things, I've shown this slide a lot of times, but something that helped me, they have a chief experience officer whose goal is to improve and optimize patient experience. But to do this, you need to have physician and nurses' experience also improved and optimized, because only happy caregiver will provide an excellent patient experience. So this is something that we're talking about patient focus, but before, so 0 step is employee experience. And there, her job is to do, Mario mentioned yesterday, better communication between doctors and doctors, doctors and patients, nurses and patients, doctors and nurses, and so on. Better cooperation between departments, which is very important, because some departments just don't have a communication. You need to help them communicate and to get better because of your patients, and better design of the whole organization. So just, let's continue with what ifs. Just imagine in the clinics, in hospitals, patients are not just object, numbers, and diseases. That patient-centered care, which Sandeep was also talking about, is truly important. Patient-first culture that we got from Cleveland Clinic is essential for your success. So who thinks this approach is right approach for the future? Can I get a hands? Okay. And that, what if we need to pay attention to every detail? Sandeep was talking about everything is important. So I wrote it 3 times, you were, in your words, but everything is important for the client. So safety, trust, everything, every single detail, every moment, every interaction. And then the chief experience officer does all that and prepares your team to go together and provide a better service. So everything matters. What if our caregivers, our employees listen carefully and explain thoroughly? Those 40 minutes last I was talking about, how you use it, it's also important. Some use it 15 minutes, some hour and a half, but how are you're good at listening and explanation. How you coach, mentor, and train yourself as a leaders and your team. Everything is important. And we cannot accept anything less than consistently deliver safe, high-quality, compassionate, and empathic care. I think this is from Cleveland as well. So this is technology and the way we build trust with our patients. This is the key. And we need to learn from the best in the industry. So that's why I read an article about user interface, UI and user experience, and I'm trying to find a way how to put it in what we do. So user interface in digital world is make interaction with users. So everything that's simple, obvious, efficient, visually enjoyable. So everything that we see, the colors, the font, the design in digital world, that's apps and web pages. And I'll explain how we can shift this into what we do. And user experience. How we make our clients feel when they're using our services or products. To me, this is more important than anything else, because our products are people, and our people are those who provide services. So this is the main. So what problems do we solve? Do we care and understand them? Do we trust them and respect them? Are we agile enough? And for everything that we do. So this is something that shows user interface, is how the clinic or hospital looks like, the colors in the site, the light, everything, the view, everything is important here. How your website looks like, what kind of font you use, what information you give. So everything that's visible, everything you do for branding, like Ilan said. So your web, social media, how your content looks like, newsletters, so everything, videos. This is everything part of the user interface of any clinic. The articles you write, the pictures you use when you share these articles, and everything shows your user interface. And user experience is how your patients feel on every stop of their patient journey, like Sandeep said. So every stop, every stop is important. And to build this into your organization, you need to make a strategy out of it. And in the center of strategy, you need to know who is your boss. Here is my boss, and our boss is in the center, and everything evolves around it. This is our sun. And then you get user experience shared and testimonial received from people all over the world. This is the end result for everything you do. Also, user experience is when your call center and how they use technology. So what information they put in the CRM, how they read this CRM, how do later doctors use the CRM, nurses, how well do we know our clients. So this is where technology is helping, and it helps us even more on every step of the patient journey. So then user experience is the technology we use. And how we communicate that technology, how we provide the services with it, and how do we do follow-up. So for me, I don't want to talk about the medical expertise. For me, if you don't have medical expertise, which should be a standard, then you can't compete at all. And when somebody says, I'm better than him, to me, I think everybody's good. But we need to be different in this soft stuff and digital stuff. This is where the bingo is. And how would perform surgeries. So all of your doctors are most important thing for user experience. Doctors, nurses, cleaning lady, anybody in a kitchen and making drivers, everybody, they're all caregivers. And if you use this and you optimize this constantly, these two things, so user interface and user experience, then you succeed. Is it easy? Of course not. Ilan said it will maybe it'll take you 5, 6, maybe 10 years. But when you do it, you'll know you did it. So patient first, employee first, plus digital transformation. That's how you prepare for a hybrid future and everything that's coming our way. And I like this quote a lot. So not because it's easy, but because it's hard. If it's harder to do, then there will be less competition. And you want less competition in that way, because then you will be the star, only star for your patient. And just to conclude, so make employee engagement a priority. Our employees are our product, our service. Without them, any technology you got, anything, any brand, you got nothing. So these are our products. Always improve 1% each week, each month, each year. Yesterday we talked about mistakes. Turn every mistake your team does into opportunity to serve client even better and to learn something from it. And to me, you can buy the best technology, best digital transformation, but how your staff cares, empathy they show, like we heard yesterday, how they communicate, this is everything. this is a recipe for a safe future for all of you. And you need to understand, like we talked today, and Mario yesterday said, so caregivers. Caregivers are everybody in your organization, and you need to treat them like this and teach them and work with them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ognjen, so much. That was really impressive, especially for a moderator. I should try this next year. We'll switch next year. So thank you so much. I'm sure that you in the audience have many questions for Ognjen, and especially, of course, for our international guests, for Elon and Sandeep. But we'll have to wait until the end of the section, because then there will be a Q&A session. So please prepare your question and hold on to them. And our next speaker is already ready. He comes from Poland, Mr. Marek Holovko. Mr. Holovko, yeah, did I pronounce it right? Yeah, okay. He's the CEO and the co-founder of Clinic Hunter, and I believe that you have a lot of tips for us. So we are here prepared to listen.
Actually, that's me on the picture. I know I've changed a bit. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for being invited to this event. I'm really glad to be here. And well, my idea was to share with you the most practical part of what you can implement in your clinics, because I know we have many managers from the clinics, owners. So yeah, I'd like to focus on conversion rate, how you can increase it. I will share some practices and tips. Higher conversion rate means more patients, means more money. This is what the business is about. So let me share what we've done in Clinic Hunter. Because we are a medical tourism platform, so we connect patients coming from abroad with clinics. So most of our patients are from the UK, Ireland, Scandinavia, and they usually go to Poland, Hungary, Turkey, not to Croatia yet, but I hope they will. So let's take a look at our end-to-end process. So as many of you, we are collecting leads from different sources, but we focus on Google search. We provide content. Then we have a customer service. At the end, we're aiming to make an appointment at the clinic. That's probably the process you do in your clinics. It's nothing special. For the last few years, we have served more than 30,000 leads, all coming from abroad. So our experience is just about patients coming from abroad. From the very beginning, we've been measuring many KPIs, and I will share some of them with you, how you can increase your conversion rate. Okay, first of all, I would like to, well, let's divide process into 3 phases. First one is sales. This is what you do before patient comes to the clinic. Then is the consultation phase and the treatment and aftercare. And in each phase, I will provide you with some data that we have gathered for the last years. Okay, first of all is a sales phase. So what you can do in the sales phase. Yesterday, Elizabeth has given an example of a search in Google that you have really looked for dental implants in Croatia. Yeah. So, like this is usually where the journey starts. Patients write Google search, they write dental implants Croatia, and they find clinics. You're one of these clinics. You compete. You already compete right here. So this is the first step they do. And for the patients coming from, let's say, the UK, they have few offers. They can do it in their home country. Let's say they have to spend £10,000 for the service. But when they go abroad, they already have it much cheaper. So it is not that they are looking for the cheapest offer, but they will choose the best one from the ones they can get abroad. So it is not that you have to be the cheapest. You have to be good. You have to really sell your service in a good way. Okay, so if you have a product and price in place, marketing in place, but the trust and communication is not working, you will lose the patient. The data says that 89% of customers have stopped doing business with a company after experiencing a poor customer service, poor communication. So let's go to the tips. First one is telephone contact versus email contact. Like, phone is much better. You can hear your patient. You can work with your voice, your tone, personality. You can build a relationship. You can explain complex ideas, complex things. When it's about an email, email is easy to ignore. If you receive email, you don't need to answer it. So, whenever you receive a lead and you have a telephone number, call the patients. Please look at the data. Here's a tool mistake. It should be 15% and 6%. But this is data coming from actually our services. When we managed to contact a patient via telephone, our conversion rate was a level of 15%. When it was only email, it was just 6%. So the first tip is call your patients. Even if they're coming from abroad, call them. If you do it, you will have 2.5 more patients. The second thing is speed to response. I mean, so it's how quickly you respond to the lead you receive. When you do it quickly, you increase likelihood that your customer is available because probably the person has sent a lead via contact form. If you call them quickly, you have a great chance to get them to get to them. So you have a chance to be the first to contact them. So make a first impression and build the confidence. Let's take a look at the data and the correlation. Actually, in Clinic Hunter, we have a target to contact patient in 15 minutes. This is our KPI. We measure that data. When we managed to contact patients within 1 minute, our conversion rate was a level of 17%. But take a look at the data. With every minute, conversion rate is getting lower. Within 5 minutes, it's just 13%. Within 1 hour, it's 12%. Within 24 hours, it's 7%. And after 1 day, it's 6%. So probably your lead is already booked in Turkey or Poland, so it's done. Next thing is trust. There was a lot about trust today and yesterday. I will show you some research we've done and what are the outcomes of that research. So if you're a patient and you're going to a country you've never been before, it's very risky. Sometimes you have to undergo general anesthesia. In the clinic you know nothing about. Like, you don't know the names of the clinics in Poland. I don't know the names of the clinics in Croatia. You will never build like a brand like Cleveland Clinic. It's impossible when you're you have one clinic. It's impossible to do it. So you will be operated by a surgeon you have never met, and you have to pay a few £1,000s. So you need to build trust. What we've done in Clinic Hunter was a mystery shopper study. So we hired a native speaker who has sent, lead, and contact a few clinics. We don't have much time, but I will share some feedback we received. Yeah, this is what we got from our native speaker. So the first one is that the person I spoke to was not very confident. She had to sometimes ask other people about things. She purely answered my questions and nothing else. Phone call, a bit of letdown after seeing such a good website. The girl spoke English but with heavy accent. There was no real encouragement to take matter further to build a rapport. I have few of them. We try to do it regularly. But let's take a look at the best one. Excellent. Told I needed no information from the UK. Took my email address to send me all the details. Native speaker, extremely polite and friendly. Came across as very reliable and honest. Made the whole thing appear to be very simple and easy. And let's take a look at the data. For many years, we had many patient advisors. Some of them were good, some of them were worse. And conversion rate really differs between people. Some of them had 9% conversion. Others managed to have 28%. we had the same processes, the same procedures, but it was the way of building trust among patients. Some tips, what to do. Well, be confident about your service, about yourself. Listen your patients and answer the questions. You need to educate the patient. If you are talking with patients, you need to know exactly what you do, how the service look like. Become a friend, build a relationship. Use testimonials and third-party stories. This is an email template. Well, if a person has to spend like a few £1,000, don't send email like this. You cannot send an email with a few words saying what is the price. It's not enough. I'd rather suggest to send, well, comprehensive data. Some more tips, yeah, do the follow-ups. If a person is not responding, call once more, send another email. Use native speakers. If you can hire a native speaker, do it. Call on weekends. In my country, it's, well, we don't call on weekends. It's something, it's kind of a route, yeah, if you call on the weekend. But in the UK, for example, it's something usual. They speak about offers on the weekends. Multi-channel, use whatever patient wants. WhatsApp, email, telephone, whatever works. Use call scripts, so provide your patient advisors with the way you want them to speak with patients. And email templates, I really recommend it. It's much faster and you have already the information in one place. Okay, let's go to the second phase, consultation and treatment phase. We've been measuring, well, because like treatment starts with consultation usually, especially in dentistry, and then you decide if you go with a treatment plan. So, well, we had some clinics where only 8% of patients dropped, but we had clinics where 33% of patients dropped. They decide not to go with the treatment plan, and they left. And this is what we received as a feedback from patients. Bad organized dental plan, lose all faith in the clinic. Doctor never explain in details the procedure or products. This is something, well, you will lose patients if you don't do treatment plans. I really recommend to do written treatment plans that are being signed by patients. Explain, as a doctor, you need to explain everything and answer all the questions that patients have. Shortly about aftercare process, if you can provide, well, with a surgeon form, it really works. If a patient after really, well, surgery, which is extensive, like, I don't know, plastic surgery, weight loss surgery, if they can call surgeon, they feel much safer. They can ask questions really quickly, get answers. If you have complaints, work really quickly with them. Within 1 hour, it really works. And offer some solutions, what will happen next. So this is what we actually do. I think it really works. So it's 15 minutes response time, multi-channel say scripts, reviews, follow-up process, multi-language services. And the quick second part is medical travel insurance. Let's take a look from the perspective of the patient. Patient coming from abroad has a different perspective than local one. It's completely different. You have many obstacles on your way. Like, for example, before treatment, you're afraid, well, what will happen if my flight is cancelled? Will I lose my deposit? I have paid a deposit, but I may lose it, yeah? What if treatment takes longer? I have taken days off. I have booked my flights. I have the hotel booked. What happens if it takes not 5 days, but 7? And after the treatment, what if I have complications? I will have to go back. I will have to buy another flight. Who will pay for that flight and accommodation? It's their perspective. So what we've done as a clinic hunter, we said, well, let's address all these fears. We have built a relationship with AXA, and we have built a dedicated insurance for medical tours. This is something brand new, and actually this is something new on the market. So it covers all those risks. So before treatment, if your flight is cancelled and you cannot go, this insurance will cover the flight cancellation, and if you will lose a deposit, it will be also covered by the insurance. And of course, if your treatment takes longer, the insurance will cover additional nights, rebooked flights, and you will receive daily allowances. And after the treatment, if you need to go back, because mistakes happen, it happens, it's medicine. So this insurance covers return trip cost. So do they really need it? Do patients need it? This is the data that shows how it increased in sales. Like during the COVID, it was flat, but for the last months, it's growing really rapidly. Right now, I would need to, actually, it has doubled from July. So it's really something that patients wanted, and we see it in the Facebook groups. They recommend it. They need it, yeah? You can offer it to your patients coming from abroad, actually, if you want. We have a kind of website widget, so we can put it on your website. You can, of course, put it in the email. So this is something that already is done by many clinics in Poland, Turkey, and other countries. And I recommend it to you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Supposed to work, it works. And okay. So thank you, Mr. Marek. That was really concrete tips. And I'm sure that our audience have many questions for you in the Q&A session. And now it's time to greet our next speaker, who is really a loyal speaker, who was with us also in the COVID times. His name is Miroslav Varga. Mr. Miroslav, come join me on stage. I don't know where you are. Aha, thank you.
I don't have a microphone, but I will get one. They promised me. At least
Yeah,
5
here is the
minutes
one.
before I leave. No, I need the clicker also. I know it sounds like a surprise, but yes, I found it.
Luxury.
Hello. Thank you. That's me. That's the last time I had a tie. 12 years ago, I think. Yesterday I had a tie, but not this kind. And when I sat at the table, the people around me was so happy to have the private konobar, the service people. Okay, I will go one step back. We all are talking about patients, but patients are people, and people are surprisingly interesting. Surprising. I'll try to click. Hello, can I get a clicker that works actually? Is it possible? I think the battery is out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
here.
yes. Yay, yo, where should I stay that the clicker can have a good connection with the computer? It works every 7th click. TV? No? No? Now I want to go back. Thank you. Ha! But still doesn't work. Oof. No, I'm sorry, but the clicker really doesn't work.
Yeah.
Never mind. Just a short introduction. I'm a mechanical engineer. I have nothing to do with medicine, pharmacy, doctors, marketing, or whatever. I'm just an engineer. And engineers are strange people because they live their life digitally, 0 or 1. There is no in between. We don't know the nuances between 0 and 1, and people are always between 0 and 1, all the time. And so engineers have a problem with the world. The world claims that engineers are autistic, and it's true. 20% of engineers working in Silicon Valley is somewhere on the spectrum of autism. And we think that normal people are actually crazy. And the timer doesn't work. Yay! Yes, I will stay here if the clicker will work from here. Yay! But it doesn't. So I am a Martech specialist. What is a Martech specialist? A person that lives on the edge of statistics, technology, and marketing. Actually, we are not living anymore in the world of statistics. We are living in a world of game theory. I will show you why, what happened and what is the problem. What our Martech specialists do, actually, they analyze things. And then they told me, we analyze anything. And they told me, can you analyze a truck plate? Yes, of course, I can analyze a truck plate. I analyzed the Texas truck plate because a friend asked me to do it. So what have I found out? Texas is the Lone Star state, and there are so many stars on the truck plate. And I asked them, which one is the Lone Star? Because you call your state the Lone Star, nobody could answer me. Then I asked them, okay, why are you breaking the law? According to American Department of Defense regulations, the star should always show the movement where you are going to, should be forward. But if you put the Texas flag on your right hand, it shows backward. So you can only go in circles if you want to obey the law. And then there is a third problem. Texas is the only state in the world where horses have 3 legs. Yes. The only 3-legged country in the world is Texas. Wow. And then maybe the most important thing that I have discovered, I have shown them they are using the best drugs ever. Send it over, because Texas is the only place in the world where people can see through the moon and the stars behind the moon. Wow, send us this stuff you have. Please, that's the best ever. Nobody in the world, don't laugh, everything is true what I have, it's not a comedy. So that is what a Martech specialist is doing, analyzing things. Let me show you my problems. I have only 6 problems in my life, only 6. I will tell you about these 6 problems. Probably you are also connected with them. The first one is decisions in a world of an engineer are based on math. In math, everything is clear. 1 and 1 is 2, and it's always 2. In the world of people, there is not 1 and 1 that is 2. It can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 0, it can be everything. What I have learned, if I have a right solution in marketing, that doesn't mean that there is not another right solution. It's not exclusively only one solution. That's a problem, because then you have a hard time to decide what to do. But you have to do it. The second problem we have is information asymmetry. And now I can see this is the old presentation. Yay! I had a new one, a better one, much better than this one. Shorter, much more interactive, and I'm lying all the time. The problem with information asymmetry is very often in your business. People don't know everything, and economy is based on a wrong presumption that everybody is at the same level of knowledge, of information, of education, whatever. We are never in the same information position. It's always an asymmetry. This guy, George Akerlof, he got the Nobel Prize in economy because he has proved that there is a great asymmetry, especially in the market of used cars. People that are selling used cars are lying. This car is wow, never crashed, whatever. And then you buy a car and you are disappointed. Then they find out that actually only the companies that were showing all the data of the car was crashed, it was repaired, here was the big problem, here was a small problem. Only these companies that show you all the information they had about the car stayed on the market. The people that were using the symmetry of information, they drop out of the market. You should never talk to your patient without showing as plain language possible, what will you do with him? Don't use your position of the information asymmetry. Usually when I come to some people in this industry, I always say, our average patient, there is no average patient. This beautiful sculpture, this girl that you can see, it's a sculpture made based on 15,000 average measurements of young, beautiful girls. 15,000. The length of the arm, the length of the nose, whatever. And then they built this sculpture. And then they had this great idea, let's invite all normas, this sculpture is called Norma. Let's invite the normas to dinner, to meet them in person. And then they checked the numbers. Do you know how many normas joined the dinner? Any idea? None. There is no average. There is also a Norman. A Norman has one dimension more, but I will not talk about Norman. I like Norma much more. Remember this picture on your right side. Those two groups of people are 20 years old, on average. And you should be prepared for that average. Averages don't exist. Don't base your business on averages. Base your business on people. Yay! Yay! Another big problem is that people are confusing correlation with causality. If two sets of numbers are strongly correlated, that still doesn't mean that there is any connection between them. If you want to find out more, check this Tyler Riggin guy. As you can see, the number of US deaths connecting with hanging, strangulation, and suffocation is very strongly connected with USA investment in space, technology, and science. So his conclusion was, let's stop invest in science, nobody will hang himself anymore. It's completely wrong. There was another guy, Messerly, that's the right picture. He has find out that the correlation between chocolate consumption and Nobel Prize winners per country is very strong. So stop forcing the kids to go to school, just feed them with chocolate. Everything will be super. But it's not so, unfortunately. Yes, you have a chocolate. The Nobel Prize is smiling. The fifth problem is that people are unpredictable. The upper example is that the company in Canada introduced a new kind of a cookie that is 90% that is rotated. And they told the consumers, now we have the diamond shreddy, not the actual one. It's the same. It was the same cookie, but only diamond. And the consumer associations were getting mad. Well, they were crazy. What are you doing? So they have to pull off the market this diamond shreddy. Now they have this combo mix, regular and diamond shreddies in one package. Increasing the sales for 20%. That's important. You can never know what's going on with people. The best sommeliers in the world, when you give them wine, to taste wine, they always give better scores to wine that is sipped of heavier bottles. And even better, the wine has the score if you tell them, oh, this one is very expensive. This one is more than $100 a bottle. And they checked it. We are subjective. When people are talking to you at any meeting, give them hot beverages or warm beverage, because people have a better attitude emotionally towards you if they drink a coffee, if they have something warm in their hands. Don't give them ice-cold drinks, because they will have an ice-cold attitude towards you. Give them something warm, and then we can talk, we can dance, even whatever. So we are friends, because you are drinking a tea or cocoa or coffee, whatever. What they have done with people, they put ice cold water in a bucket and told people, put your hands in this ice cold water. And people put their hands for 60 seconds in ice cold buckets. And then afterwards, they have increased the temperature of these ice cold buckets for 1 degree Celsius. And told them now additionally 30 seconds, half of you 30 seconds additionally should have in this 1 degree warmer water. And what happened? The people that had at the end a little bit better experience had an overall better score to the experience of they also had 60 seconds hands in ice cold water, but overall the overall result was better, that the experience was not so bad at the end. So you can never know what's going on with people. People are irrational. I will not tell you about every of this example. I will just tell you the example that was promoted, that was actually done by Schlenker and Leary. What have they done? They have tested people about what do you think, which car specialist, which doctor, which whatever expert is better. And what was the conclusion? People are scoring better professionals that are lying to them. I will make your car fly. Don't worry, just leave it here. In 2 hours it will fly. And the other, oh, I don't know, I have to check. I will see, maybe there is a problem with the engine. I don't know. Give me 2 hours to give you the answer. And always people decided that this one that told them that your car will fly is the better expert. A liar. And all these experiments are very interesting. For you, the Joshua Bell experiment should be something that you should take care of. The context, the surroundings. Again, talked about the surroundings of the clinics. It's very important. Even without speaking with any doctor, if the clinic sends nice vibe, it's okay. Okay, and I will not talk about check it. One very, very big problem is people are jumping to conclusions. During the Second World War, there was a Hungarian mathematician. His name was Abraham Wald. Was in charge to reduce the plane crashes of American Air Force. And the generals had this great idea. Let's reinforce on all the planes that came back the places with most hits. And Abraham Wald told them, no, this is wrong. The planes with the hits on those places returned. We should improve all the places that were not hit on the planes that returned. And when they done this, actually, miracles happened. What are you doing? You are concluding about your patients based on the patients that came to your clinics. And what's happening? Why others are not coming? That is the problem. You have a very small percentage of the population coming to your clinic. And then the last case was made by 2 journalists, Rob Walker and Joshua Glenn. What have they done? They have bought 200 items on eBay for $1. Then they asked people to write short stories about each and every of these items. And best short story writers wrote a story, and the winner was this little mouse. It was both for $1, and it was sold for $162.5 because the story was so nice. People like stories. People are deciding emotionally. Don't neglect this. Don't be the perfect professional, and as a human being, you are not maybe building the connection I expect as a patient. This is all with a small notice. 90% of people today are telling, I will die tomorrow if you take away internet. the young people, and be aware that we have changed our behavior, that we have changed everything, and that we are not, sometimes when we know what we search for, we are searching in a completely different way. I will maybe search for a dental clinic, somebody will search for a tooth reparation, guys, I don't know. Everybody has his own way of searching. 3 final takeaways are here. I would like you to remember we live in VUCA times, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambitious. Please don't be the bad expert. Thank you.
Woo. Thank you so much, Miroslav, for this psychological. I don't need this, I have mine, as everybody knows.
Twice is twice, you know?
Okay, that's for sure. Please don't go away because we need you for the Q&A session. So please take your seat, and I will call also our other speakers to join me here on stage, Mr. Sandeep, Mr. Ilan, and Mr. Marek. No, you're not Marek. Marek and Mr. Ognjen. Please join me on stage for the Q&A session. Thank you. We have assistants. But it's pink.
Just to reveal a very hidden...
Please.
To reveal a very hidden fact, Mr. Bagatin is the only guy here with a bug in his surname.
Hello, Baba. Baba is here. So everybody, dear audience, I'm sure that you have lots of questions for our speakers. So please start with it. The first question from Elizabeth in the second row. Could we get a microphone, please? Yeah. Our assistant is running, so please take your opportunity to ask our speakers. And the other microphone, microphone, please, to Mr. Bagatin.
Thank you so very much for 5 excellent and very entertaining presentations, just terrific content. And for someone who works a lot in the patient experience area, I have certainly learned many things from you today because, yes, the world has changed. And as I mentioned yesterday, if your medical travel strategy is pre-COVID, rip it up and start again because it is a brave new world. And I love that all of you talked about safety in very different ways. Safety was never mentioned in medical tourism before COVID because it would scare people into thinking that maybe they were unsafe. So in looking at how the topic of safety has changed over the past two plus years, my approach to it is the flip side, and it is risk management. And while you all talked about various aspects of safety, one thing that I didn't hear from you, perhaps you could comment now, is about the aspect of safety of personal information, privacy, confidentiality. To me, consumers are much more aware that they're of GDPR, of HIPAA compliance, of the amount of security breaches of personal data that have taken place. If we look at cybersecurity and all the breaches that have just skyrocketed during COVID, how do you incorporate this into your patient experience? Is it front-facing? Is it more in the back? So how do we message this issue of safety to not make patients, consumers, feel afraid?
Maybe I can answer. But first, can I get applause for our stand-up comedy, Mr. Miroslav, once again?
Comedian. Human behavior.
And the bug joke, okay. But I would say it is important, but I'm not sure it's part of the safety, but the patients for their first 5 things that's important to them, I don't think this is in first. Only if something bad happens, then this issue comes up. So it's important, but we're dealing with it. So every European company, hospital takes care of this. Not every, but we do. And it's important, but to the patients, at the moment, it's not top 5 priority. I would say this is my opinion.
So what I'll add is good question, Elizabeth, and I think I'll talk in 3 parts: Middle East, APAC, and Europe. Now, when I talk about the Middle East, as I said in my presentation, a lot of things are derived by the government. It's the regulator who sets the tone and the providers follow. So in that context, it's quite hybrid. So if you talk about the HIPAAs, if you talk about the compliances, it's the government who mandates it and the provider applies it. At the same time, when you talk about communication, we see that it's governments who say, make suggestions, but then the mandate has to come from the providers, and that becomes a sense of differentiation for them if provider A is focusing a lot on those elements versus B is not. If I talk about APAC, I think providers themselves take up a lot of that responsibility. They steer it from the bottom, and the government just adds whatever updates are needed. If I talk about this region, I think it is more from the patient side. It's more of the patient's responsibility, very simply put, because as he mentioned in his presentation, there are a lot of patients coming from the UK to Poland and this region. So if you cannot compare an NHS to different systems. So it's the patient who has to take up a lot of it. So I hope I've answered your question.
Well, from my perspective, we've been receiving pictures, even naked pictures of patients, because they were asking for many plastic surgeries. And before GDPR, we have never had any complaint about the data and the way we share it. It has never happened. And from my perspective, I think GDPR, from my perspective, of course, hasn't helped in that matter. But it enforced you to do additional job, which is not very good for the market, because you need additional job to be done with each patient, the way you share the data. But I understand that, well, the cases might have happened with the data has somewhere gone, or some pictures have gone, and this is something that has happened. But we have never had such a case before. And from my perspective, as a patient, you need to choose carefully the clinic you share your data with. You can see it's like user experience from the very, very beginning. You have to be careful where you send your pictures, your medical data.
Like everything else in medical tourism, it's regional. The answer is based on the region. I mean, we all know that, for example, there are countries that are blocking either Facebook or, you just don't get that platform in those countries. So right from the beginning, there could be complete miscommunication and no way to communicate between certain areas because certain platforms are blocked. So I don't think that there is one answer fits all in this kind of situation.
Miroslav, do you have your perspective?
Well, I'm not concerned about it. It's the task of my client. But I can just tell you that at the beginning of COVID, there were much more Italians concerned about COVID regulations than Germans. Germans were much more afraid of data and data protection and this stuff. So it's regional and country by country side. But let's be honest, everybody in Europe expects that every country in Europe is actually obeying to the European law. So Europe as a region is not so under effect. People from the States sometimes.
Yeah, we are hysterical.
Yes, yes.
Honestly.
Very often I get, you are uninformed. Is there still going war on in Croatia? And what now with this Russian rocket attempts and whatever?
It's the same war. It never stops.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Thank
Did you
you.
get your answer?
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
We have another question here.
Hi, hello everybody, Mario Rabic speaking. I'm interested in one thing. By your experience, is there a division between younger and older patients in terms of UI and digital access? And second thing is, how does, by your experience, collaboration on data and information sharing, so getting and pulling, works in real life, also in between generations? So is there like a generation gap or line, like 45, 40, 50, 35, that basically you see as a transformative, line when we will get from, physical to more digital, like there is a new word, phygical, right, out of it? Thank you.
Yeah. I can start.
Bagatin.
So I know Mario, great lecture yesterday. You were asking the question, you know the answer, so you...
Actually, no, I don't know.
Yeah,
But we don't know.
I thought I knew it.
But
so
I like it. I just wanted to say,
Maybe just one
Please.
short answer. People about 35-ish, can I pay in 36 installments? People about 45-ish are about, will I for sure be advanced at my job with this new look, whatever? And 50 about people about 60-ish, can I really chew some bacon again?
I like
The
this. I
most
like this.
important thing.
I'll just add on now one of the examples he gave in his presentation about engineers, 0 and 1, and I'll try to answer the question. I'm also a biotechnology engineer, so I look at things black and white, as you mentioned. So to answer that question, I would think, okay, people within the age of 40 are very techy, they know what they're doing, they can download stuff on their phones, iPads. But then when I walk around and see, I learned some of the coolest tricks on the iPhone from someone who was in his 60s. And then I had someone in their 20s still not knowing that, you can do a lot of things on the phone or with the data. So I started with that notion that you can divide the demographics digitally, but I think it's more regional demographics than age, because there are certain regions which as a country or as a region is more averse, whereas there are regions which are more receptive and less receptive to digital changes. So I think it's regional than age.
More mentality than the
Yeah.
age. Okay?
okay, thank you.
There is a culture element in the whole thing. I'll give you an example. In South America, in the Hispanic communities, there is a very important day in the life of young women. It's called quinceañera. And that's when girls are reaching the age of 16, and many of them are getting a gift, breast augmentation, or facelift, or nose, because they want them to be beautiful for the rest of their lives. I mean, it's cultural. There's nothing you can do, but it's a whole market. Okay, and this is something that I don't know how technology can influence it, because it doesn't come from technology. It comes from traditions of years before.
But it's coming to Croatia as well. Maybe you should know. It's coming to Croatia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. We can discuss it later on. I agree completely, since healthcare is culturally and socially determined, has roots for many centuries in all of us, different ages, regions, traditions. What is very cool about digital access is that, and virtual experiences and the mixture of UI and UX, that is really that is really also age-based. Right, so you cannot transform patients like 50, 60, as you said. Can I chew my bacon? Right, you can just move them, be more active like that. But I'm fully happy with the answer you gave. Thank you.
One size doesn't
Thank you
fit
so
all.
much. And we have a question. Yeah, thank you once again. And we have another question from Mr. Irving.
This is so good. To Mario's comment, since it's more like a workshop at this point,
Yeah.
there's to the interface of the human and the android. We all have been hit with the metaverse, yes, in the news, and it's being it's being bandied about in a negative way. Mr. Zuckerberg has become a piñata, to use it. But what we have is we have the confluence of digital access, which is agnostic of age, as I'm sure at 70 I can teach some people younger than me a few things, and also I look to younger people. So we have the confluence of age, we have physical dysmorphia, which is the result of the avatar of the human being. So my avatar doesn't look like Irving with the scar on his forehead. He looks like Irving in an idealized form. And this is, Mario, the future of the species, unless and until there's some humanistic rebound. And your presentation, Miroslav, spoke to these issues. You know, economics is the gray science. We are not gray people. We are not rational actors. And so we want to look like some image that cannot be achieved. Or maybe it can be. We've seen some stunning things around the world with transformation of people's faces and their bodies. So these are deep subjects of which we may want to have a panel at the next conference about the collision of culture, psychology, and the possibilities. But for the moment, we can indeed take advantage of this, leverage this, and respect it. And that's really just my observation.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, this distinction between the real and virtual world is really interesting, but it deserves a panel for itself, that's for sure. You have to, we have another question. We have a question submitted in our chat. This is Anirban from India. I have a question, and that's a question for Marek, so please listen carefully. I have a question regarding communication with patient. We get a lot of patients from Africa where connectivity and language sometimes becomes a challenge. We initially contact patients through chat messages via WhatsApp. Once we understand on the seriousness of the query, then we try to establish a phone connection. As the technology is evolving, so is WhatsApp, Viber, email, etc., hence, communication is also preferred through this platform. How do you see this as a communication, and what best and worst could happen with these platforms? This question is for Marek.
Very good question. Actually, first of all, what I would do, I would think over if it's worth having someone that is able to connect with the language of the patient. So maybe it's worth to have someone who speaks whatever this African language is. This is the first thing I would do. If you look at, I had experience, I was in Turkey in June this year, and I met many clinics there, and they have even like people talking, they have patient advisors that can serve patients in 12 or 15 languages, which is amazing, you know. They have like, they have English, they have Arabic, they have whatever you want. So I think this is the first thing I would do from the perspective of India. The second thing, well, I do believe that we have to do what patients want. So if they prefer WhatsApp, Viber, or whatever, we have to be there. They will not change because we want them. We have to adapt to what they really need. So, of course, if patients prefers WhatsApp, you have to be there. If patient prefers Viber, you
Even
have
if
to
you don't
be
like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to be flexible.
That's right.
Okay, we ran out of time.
No,
yeah, you have
please,
one-
please, everybody, stay where you are. The break has just finished.
Vladimir should say something about it. Do we have a break at all? 15 minutes break and then move on. Thank you so much, guys. You're brilliant. Brilliant lectures, really. And stand up. Nećeš dugo sjedit, znaš. Brzo ćeš ti doći tu, bit sama opet. Tako je meni. Dancing Queen. Žao mi što to nisam vidjela, ovdje ima neka snimka. To je sad najgore u doba telefona. Sve je dokumentirano. Ma joj, ne vram, ja to više. Stara sam ja za to. Uvijek vama mladima. Yeah, we can start. Please take your seats because we are about to start this final chapter of the conference. We are reaching the end, dear audience. I'm also devastated like you are, but we have some information that can help you feel a little bit better. At 3:15, there is a bus waiting for you in front of the hotel to take you to the winery. Great winery, very popular in this region, so please don't use that opportunity. So that's a sweet surprise for today. And now we are starting this last chapter, this last section of the conference entitled Natural Healing Factors and Health Tourism. I'm calling Madam Mariana Biondic, the director of the Crikvenica Tourist Board, to join me on stage and tell us the very successful story of Crikvenica as a health destination.
Thank you, Ida. Okay. Dobar dan svima. Good afternoon to all of you. I'm very happy to be here in a role of a lecturer today. Although the past 24 hours were really hard for me, and especially last night, but I will do my best and try to present to you what we are doing here in Crikvenica and why we are one of the best health tourism destinations in Croatia. So the title of my presentation is Crikvenica Riviera from Natural Healing Factors to one of the best health tourism destinations in Croatia. I just have to check this. Okay. So I will tell you something about how we started. How we started developing health tourism and what were the reasons. We started back in the 19th century, more than 135 years ago, and the reasons why we started was these natural healing factors that our Riviera have. So at first I just want to take a few steps back in the past to see what happened back then in the 19th century. So the first arrival of our guests were connected to the national healing factors. Also, the first hotels that were built in Crikvenica were the hotels with hydropathic establishments in them. So we had that back then more than 135 years ago. We even started measuring weather and climate condition back then. We had the second meteorological station in Croatia. The first one was, I think, in Dubrovnik. And in the 1906, we were declared health and seaside resort. So that was back then. We started to use our comparative advantages and started developing health tourism, but also now we have these natural healing factors and we are using them. So if you want to develop health tourism, you have to have key components of a health tourism destination. And we have there are core products. So you have to have natural resources, natural healing factors. You have to have quality medical services, spa and wellness facilities. You have to have also indoor and outdoor activities, culture and tourism experiences all mixed together. And of course, when the guests come, you have to sleep somewhere. So you have to have quality accommodation, good gastronomic offer, also transport services and all other supporting services. You have to have quality service chain, and of course you have to do it in a sustainable environment, in a good atmosphere and health tourism oriented destination. So the healing the healing factors of Crikvenica Riviera, the natural therapeutic factors, are extraordinary climate and microclimate, clean air, a lot of sun, clean sea water, clean and very healthy drinking water, and Mediterranean vegetation. I want to ask you, I want to tell you a small anecdote from yesterday. So I was, we went out of electricity, so I was outside and standing there, and I hear there was two of our eminent lecturers that come for several years here on CIHT conference, and they were talking to each other, and one of them say, "You see, this air, you just have to breathe it." And then he breathes it and say, "That's it." So I think, should I say anything further? So it's really this air, this quality of air, this Mediterranean vegetation, this great mixture of sea air and mountain air, the trace minerals that we have in this air, the clean water of the sea and clean drinking water. We have 2,300 hours of sun. That's more than 200 days of sun, 200 sunny days. So it's really something. Those are the natural therapeutic factors that we have, and that's why we started developing our health tourism and Crikvenica Riviera as health tourism destinations. Those are some of the facts about the climate, about the sea. We measure the quality of the sea on 27 locations on our Riviera. We have, for example, with the drinking water, we always recommend to our guests to drink the tap water. We also put some public taps, public fountains in the city to encourage them to drink our water, because our water is really healthy and healthier than the water in bottles. The air, as I said before, exceptional purity, diffuse healthy trace minerals, and also in the air, those fragrant Mediterranean paradise. When you come here, when you breathe, you feel it, you smell it. You smell it, and those herbs are also used in gastronomy and in medicinal purposes, so they have various uses. Of course, you have to have medical services. Most of you were here during this conference and the conferences before, and you had the opportunity to hear about our medical institutions. There are many, but I want to emphasize two of them. At first, Thalassotherapia Crikvenica. It's a medical institution with a really long tradition, the longest one in Crikvenica Riviera. They are placed on an excellent location. They have qualified staff, and they work in 4 departments: physical medicine and rehabilitation, otorhinolaryngology, pulmonary internal medicine, children department, and they use combination of thalassotherapy and climatotherapy, and of course the achievement of modern medicine. They have really good results, especially in otorhinolaryngology, in this rehabilitation of respiratory upper and lower tract. So, and of course we have here the Polyclinic for biomedicine. They are inside the Thalassotherapia Crikvenica. But the second one that I want to emphasize is Terme Selce. You all know about Terme Selce, and Terme Selce, for more than 3 decades, the Terme Selce Polyclinic has been really dedicated to health and sports, and they are really the flagship, so to say, of our health tourism offer, and they do sports rehabilitation. They do it for the last 30 years. They have really, really good results with a lot of top athletes that went through this rehabilitation, and after the rehabilitation they went back to their sports, and they won again medals in, I don't know, world championships, Europe championships, or Olympics, and so on. So we have here Kvarner Polyclinic. We have a lot of dental clinics here on Crikvenica Riviera, and of course we have spa and wellness facilities. That's this soft point of our health tourism offer. We have medical wellness programs, wellness and spa centers, fitness, massages, body and facial treatments as well. Of course, indoor and outdoor activities so I just saw these 6 minutes here. I have to be quicker. So outdoor, indoor activities, culture, tourism experience, it's everything that a tourist needs when he comes in the destination. Accommodation, of course, we have 3,000 beds in hotels, almost 15 in family accommodation, campsites, all other types of accommodation. Health on your table. We organize projects with healthy food. We have 2 programs like that. Oily Fish Root Project. You know that oily fish is really healthy, rich in proteins, vitamins, minerals, and omega-3 acids. And program Experience Crikvenica with healthy menus, recreational programs, and so on. Geographic position, really good, vicinity of the Rijeka airport, vicinity of the Central European eminent markets, traffic and public infrastructure that we have to have. And we also take care of the sustainable development. We have a lot of projects that are going on that we waste management, improvement of drainage, wastewater, photovoltaic powered plants, etc., etc. I don't have much time, so I will be going a little bit faster. We won some awards, and we are very proud to be the most successful health tourism destination in Croatia in 2017. What to do next? So we have a tourism development strategy for Crikvenica Vinodol Riviera from 2019 to 2029, and an important part of the tourism development strategy is development of health tourism, and the health tourism is even incorporated in the vision of Crikvenica Riviera touristic development. So the vision is dynamic Riviera of recreation and health, tourist destination of accelerated tourist development focused on providing globally competitive and high-quality rest, recreation, and health experience, the best Adriatic destination for physical rehabilitation in a naturally healing environment. Of course, in the strategy, we have action plan. We have to be really active, proactive. We have to do a lot of stuff. We have a lot of stuff in the core elements and in the supporting elements. We plan to establish, we established a development team with internal and external experts. We want to develop a destination that is collaborative, that works together. We want to have synergy in the destination in order to be better, to have a higher quality, and to place ourselves better on the market. We plan to establish a register of quality of natural medicinal factors, also establish a destination of green standards, improve mobility and general medical care, and investing in medical institution, improving quality level of service, and certifying a green destination. Of course, we have to take care of our accommodation. We have to improve healthy and green practices. We have to further develop sport and recreational offer, also the gastronomic offer. We have to use more healthy local food and healthy menus. We have to encourage more the local and regional healthy production, and we have to interpret this theme of health tourism, of healing natural factors. We have to raise the awareness of the fact that we are really a health tourism destination. Of course, sustainable development we have to do by sustainability principles. We have to continue with implementing sustainability principles, protect natural resources, incorporate them in the product of the destination. We have to do treatments and experiences based on local and authentic, organic products, local culture. That's a lot of stuff. Health tourism is really, really complex segment. The tourism is very complex, and health tourism is even more that. So it's really, you have to have local community, local government, you have to have medicinal institution, you have to, the tourist board has to be there, the restaurants, the production, everything has to make a whole in order to be high in quality, in order to present this product to the market. And of course, besides all of that I say, we will of course continue to organize CIHT conference. We want to further develop and establish the CIHT conference as a top health tourism conference in the region, in the Adriatic, and have even greater international reach. For us is really important this exchange of knowledge, exchange of experiences, and during these last 10 years, I personally, but I think all of you and all the people that were here during these 10 years learned a lot, and all that we learned we try to do in practice. So I want to thank you all again for coming, and that's all from me. Woo! Thank you.
Bravo, Mariana. Thank you so much. We are all moving to Crikvenica after your speech. A very nice place to live in. Thank you. And another organizer of CIHT conference, Vladimir Mozetic. Please join me on stage. He will tell us something more about the Kvarner as a health tourism destination of the first league.
Thank you very much, and thank you. Mariana and myself yesterday been first on the dance floor, and we are almost lost on the stage here, but never mind. So I will explain how we start with the idea of clustering and why, what was in short, what was in the past, what is now in present, and our view to the future of clustering. And I will repeat something which what is Mariana already said, but on a much more wider region. So the idea of clustering is starting in 2012 with main points on the May of 2013. As you may see, the four main points been discussed and started. One is private-public partnership, cluster foundation, emphasize main activities in health tourism, and senior living, active and healthy aging. But from my point of view, the main thing is that the clustering produce better services for the residents, for citizens who are domestic people who are here, implement the project, who are also creates new jobs, increase flow of capital, and involvement of larger number of business entities. So another very helpful document was strategy of health industry of our country, which was first in Croatia for 2014-2020. And you may see that the main goals are public-private partnership, development of human resources, scientific technology park, and university hospital. And during that time, a touristic board of Kvarner, with touristic boards of each of region of Primorje i Gorski Kotar County, established regional brands. One of the brand is health and well-being, and you may see that we have family, gourmet, brand, hiking, outdoor activities, and the last one is a brand, it's wine, Kvarner wines. You will taste it during the afternoon, some of those wines, and we are very good connected by the highways as well as 6 airports nearby. From the start, the cluster mission and vision is a synergy of medical health part, tourism part, and science and education entities, as well as establish the health industry as a main economic developing field in our region. So why? Mariana already mentioned why Crikvenica. It's so nice, but Crikvenica is part of our Primorje Gorski Kotar mountain seaside part. So we are on the great location. We have a long tradition. We want to establish our region as European health and well-being destination. So now our cluster is AGO, have 37 members with more than 9,500 employees, in which are more than 5,000 medical staff from three triple helix model way of working. From health part, 20 private and public medical institutions and one pharmaceutical company, the biggest pharmaceutical company in Croatia, which is the general sponsor of our conference. 2 faculties, and from tourist part, 6 main and biggest hotel chains in our region, 3 travel agencies, and 6 tourist boards. And the numbers of last 3.5 years, which includes pandemic year, in that year we have more than 230,000 health patients in our region. More than 80% are dental, but the number is very high, 2,300 health tourism patients in the last 3.5 years. And we offer definitely all services in one place, which means that we know what its patient experience, and we want that the patients or the customers feel that experience from the first contact until the last one and the follow-up afterwards. The health services is just one part of our offer. You may see that we offer other things too. And of course, the legacy of our cluster with the other organizers is this conference, as well as the awards we achieved from the International Medical Travel Journal as a cluster of the year in 2016, and the finalist in 2018 and 20 with Malaysia and South Korea. But if we are looking in the present and the future, we need to look in which way the whole health will go. So we are looking on social structure data, patient general clinical data directly at the home and the patients, health and wellness data, provider generated data, and financial data. So we'll need lots of data to put on one place and organize those data and use it for the better service. Why? Because we have 2 terms we deal it. One is well-being, and another one is healthy aging. If we are talking about healthy living, I hope that in the last 2 days we have all what is signed here. We have positive thinking, we feel good, we regular exercise mainly last night, and we eat quite good. So in the last 2 days we definitely healthy living. And of course, we need to know that we have a new paradigm in health and well-being. Now, on the first place is preventing illness, promoting well-being for all, personalized medical services, which need to be less invasive and more preventive procedure. We need to be customer or patient-centered, and of course, digital tools are must-have, not good to have it. But in the same time, if we are focused on our customers, that's their life, their time, their experience, their choice. So we need to ask them what they want and personalize the whole program. Of course, if we are talking about the quality of life, if you want to be the region of health and well-being, we need to include all those dimensions of the quality of life, in which health is just one of them. We need to have all those things which are mentioned here for domestic people as well as our guests who are here. And of course, From the medical part, we are focused here in our region on four topics. One is preventive, personalized, integrative medicine. The second one is lifestyle medicine. The third one is rehabilitation, both physical and mental. And fourth, it's active and healthy aging. But if we want to be the region, not just for health services, we need to preserve natural healing resources. We need to have enough human resources. We need to know what is the level of quality of the environment, availability of infrastructure, principles of social sustainability, something which is really important, development of destination management. So, why Kvarner? Why Primorje Gorski Kotar Kanti? Mariana already explained that we have so-called Kvarner effect with deep breath of great air here, eat great food and exercise here. And of course, so that's the reason why if you stay in our region 1 week, you will live 1 year longer. That's our motto, which is good for storytelling. And of course, we like to use all natural healing resources. We have it here from the ground, from the sea, and you have yesterday presentation of Jadran-Galenski laboratory factory. They produce the product who now covered 10% of world market of nasal decongester from the seawater product. Another thing which is really important is development strategy of Adriatic region in Croatia. So in that sectors, we have 5 different fields. One is blue growth, the next one is green, smart industry and high value added services sector, and the 5th one is health. From the health part, we have 4 priority niches. One is future pharma, the second one is personalized medicine, the third one is that we are dealing on this conference, it's health and wellness tourism, and fourth, it's food and well-being. All those 4 things we have it here in our region, so that's the way in which we'll go in with our plans and projects. As well as part of health industry in which health tourism is one of the main roles. We already have it here on our university, our factories here. So we have the Department of Biomedicine, Biotechnology. We already collect the big data using robotics, 3D, digitalization, telemedicine, as well as other part you mentioned here, because our smart strategy of our region is a strategy of health and quality of life, which include pharmaceutical industry, medical devices, new services in preventive medicine and diagnosis, and nutrition. On the other hand, from the scientific part of view, on our university we have several projects and centers where we use those things, and the 2 last ones are very interesting. It's the Center for Artificial Intelligence and Cybersecurity, and now we start to establish the Institute of Health, Physical Activity and Cardiac Rehabilitation, which include all members of the cluster in the services that will be investigated and put on the market too. And another aim which we rule on is to establish the Health Innovation Hub, which means the Center of Development and Innovation in Health Industry and Health Tourism, which include education, research, development of new products, combination of digitalization, telemedicine, medical applications, and combine several industries who can produce that. And last but not least, we already produced programs of our medical institutions who are mainly covered with post-COVID programs, and we are working on the certification of the destination as a destination of health and well-being. So this is our 15 different fields in which we will make, and 4 we already do that, the protocols which will lead us to the certificate and accreditation of the destination of health and well-being. You see that they are not all connected only with the health, but with the quality of life. So this kind of certificate do not exist on the global level, so that we hope that will be first product we can share with our colleagues and partners abroad. And of course, we always come to the end of the presentation, so this is the end of this presentation in which I like to show you the past, present and the future of clusterization and how we like to become the region of health and well-being and how to spread that on the national level. And we start to talk about the Croatia health, in the future of the European health, and of course, finally on the global one. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Mozetic, and good luck with your future projects, especially this conference. We'll come here each year after year because we prolong our lives, as you said, in being here in Crikvenica. So our last speaker for today, before we end this section, is Simon Zagrodnik, Executive Director at the European Historic Thermal Towns Association. Tell us something more about it. Simone, the microphone is yours.
Thank you. Yesterday in the welcome words, it was said that there are so many experienced speakers, but also some new faces. I am one of the new faces. And it's a real pleasure and honor to be here. So thank you for the organizers to inviting me for the first time here. And I am now taking you, first of all, on another journey, and I take you into the European dimension. So we are taking first the focus out of Croatia. So, first of all, European Historic Thermal Towns Association. I think as a new one, I should at least introduce a little bit what we are doing and what this is about. And thank you for the nice introduction into the destinations and into health and well-being destinations here. Thermal towns, spa towns, just the pictures are speaking for themselves all over Europe. So, who are we? The association was founded in 2009 by 6 municipalities, and you can imagine mayors facing each other and realizing that they have thermal waters, that they have architecture, buildings that needs protection, tourism that needs to be developed. That was the idea when the association was created. And it was pretty quickly certified as a cultural route of the Council of Europe. You can see we are registered in Belgium just for the official lines. And the cultural route of the Council of Europe, you will see in a moment what that is about. What I can say as of today, we have 49 members in 18 countries. And I just quickly tell you the mission, what I was explaining is enhance, protect and promote thermalism and thermal heritage in Europe. This is what it looks like. And why the Council of Europe, and now this makes sense. We are not talking about the European Union, we are talking about the Council of Europe, and this is why we have now members from Portugal all the way, and now this is Ukraine, new since 3 weeks. They have been a member. This is our map, and who is belonging to us. And also this year, for the first time, we introduced and we welcomed one member from Brazil, a thermal town, because thermal towns are all over the globe. And we are also planning to develop more the international dimension with partners. We are very proud to have 11 very special spa towns among our members. The 11 were inscribed into the World Heritage List last July in 2021 as the Great Spa Towns of Europe. A UNESCO site, and the interesting thing is all of those 11 spa towns are one single UNESCO site. As a comment, if one messes up, all of the others have a problem. So this is why it's one site. To understand the thermal phenomenon, the spa towns of Europe, they decided on, there was a process to really look for the pearls among the spa towns that reflect the tradition, the spa tradition, the everything that is about the waters. And also as a side comment, and you all know this, people have traveled to the sources in Europe for hundreds and thousands of years, and this is why it's very special to have such a group. So, looking at our work, what we are doing, and that is also not so easy to explain. We basically have two pillars that we are working in and what we are representing. And I'm introducing you to this, and I take you on this journey to understand my example later, what I want to, or what I chose to pick and to present to you today. On the one side, we are this association that I just told you about. It's the institutional structure behind the scenes more. This is where we work on a political level. The municipalities, as I mentioned, or regions are members, which means there is a lot of political lobbying for the heritage, for the culture, for health tourism, and for cultural tourism. Brussels, of course, is a big door for us, but also on the national levels, on the local levels, regional levels. This is where we as an institution and as an association connect to other European institutions, but also global associations. For example, as an association, we are a member of UNWTO affiliate members. The communication in that frame is B2G and B2B, clearly, to really look for interest. And actually, when it comes to policies for health tourism in Europe and on the European level, this is where we try to get the voice and where we really try to support the local and national politicians. The cultural route of the Council of Europe is where we have most of our activities in. Of course, this is all about political attention also there, European Commission, Council of Europe, but this is where we create the activities and where we have to start on the local level to actually also work with the people, include them into the identity as a spa town. And just yesterday, when Maria, she was talking about art and culture, it just came to my mind in the spa towns, of course. Spa towns are a mutual combination of culture, arts, and the waters, and the health and the well-being, because people have just, for centuries, used this for the healing and now for the prevention. Marketing and promotion, and this is where I'm quickly jumping to now, is where we really develop in the wide range, B2C, B2B, B2G. The little thing that we have a scientific committee there, yes, we need, of course, to research about the data and the history of the thermal towns. Two fields, two target audiences, and this is now my package I bring into this conference in addition to health tourism. As I said, it's a mutual combination, and we have the luck, the towns are lucky and have the big opportunities to combine cultural tourism and health tourism. And of course, we all know when it comes to cultural tourism, this is where we have the storytelling, it was just mentioned, where you create for tourism promotion the thematic clusters, where the spa towns have the chance to tell the story besides the health and the well-being. Just as an example, we have created, of course, the fields of therapeutic spa landscapes, gastronomy, spas in antiquity, for example. For the health tourism, and I just give you this aspect quickly, the interesting thing, or the interesting part, is coming out of the cultural root idea. This is our potential, and this is our idea to also get people in touch with health tourism. Even they come maybe with another idea or with another motivation. So the potential to maybe get the more cultural-oriented tourists automatically in touch with the well-being and the health aspect and the offers that are actually in this destination is a potential. And of course, all of those destinations have the big challenge to transform from curing the sick and the old to destinations of well-being. And I think you all know this challenge. So, the pandemic. quickly, yeah, the situation was really bad because the thermal establishments were the first ones to close and the last ones to open. And not in every country you had the medical aspect to let them open and to let them run the business. Labor questions, we had it yesterday, it was mentioned. The municipalities struggling with the question, do I open, do I close? The assets we have, and I'm not repeating because at the end this is what I just told you, there is a big encouragement or encouraging fact that all these destinations have. We have heard a lot from the people, focus on the people, people are focused on themselves, they research for well-being. So with this in mind, we realized, coming out of the pandemic, we are in this together, all the destinations, from Portugal to Georgia. So we have to be creative, not big budget, what do we do? It was simply, it started with the idea, let's put in, really during the lockdown even, let's just put some awareness rising social media posts out. We just have to do something, and this is my encouragement for clusters and associations. It's always hard to do something without budget, but we started, we created, and from, again, all over Europe, we just tried to do something and encourage, discover us. We are a combination of cultural and health tourism. We also tried to channel a bit more what I described, to add themes to this idea. A spa town, water, health and well-being, okay, and then adding this with the theme kits and giving ourselves also a more customer-oriented face, because that did not exist before that clearly. We had more it's an institutional look. And then we were coming more and more closer to the fact, and this is what I mentioned before, we're working on national, regional levels. We have been a member of the Tourism Manifesto, which is also uniting the private and the public sector in Europe. And what we also realized is that with the product we have, we are really much fitting into the strategy and the so-called passion points of the European Travel Commission. European Travel Commission, all national tourist offices and boards are member to the European Travel Commission. So as a European network, we wanted to encourage the national tourist offices actually to pay more attention and raise the awareness. So this is when this year we, for the first time, initiated a campaign supported by the European Travel Commission and co-financed 50% by the European Union. It was an idea. We wanted to create something, get the word out, and share what the towns, the spa culture has to offer. And so we came with a package. We created a package of activities. You see two of the key visuals there, and the title was Immerse Yourself in the Spa Culture of Europe. Finally, for the first time, we could produce a video clip. We worked with a tour operator, which was also encouraging for the destinations just to see that there is something happening, that a tour operator has the bookings and has the offers and runs a campaign with us. But most impressive, and this is why just quickly, most impressive were the press trips. One journalist actually writing for Vogue North America, and for an association like us, if you have the Vogue with 15 million unique users per month having an article, it's just amazing. And so we started in different countries some activities, and finally also the destinations understood, aha, this makes maybe sense to try to just get the word out and have an awareness-raising campaign. And then one of the packages was that we had simply social media campaigns in Europe, in the DACH markets, so Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, and in North America. And that was something we were not so sure about how it's going to work and what we maybe learned from it, but it was, for us, the moment this year that we finally learned something about potential customers to the thermal towns and the spa towns in Europe. And this is for example, how the one in Europe looked like. And as you can see, and this is why the big arrow, one of our Croatian members, Daruvar, was part of it, and the pictures. So it was just great to know that people just start clicking and clicking through. And we surprised everybody. Nobody was really sure how the consumers are reacting to this spa culture campaign, and we exceeded. So after 1 week, we got the emails, this is working great, this is wonderful. So people really are, whatever, if they are looking maybe for more the health aspect or more the cultural aspect. So it was just a big success, and we started to celebrate. And also for me, as an executive director, a wonderful moment, because I finally can share with the mayors and with the municipalities' numbers to say, look, this is worth looking together and trying just to promote ourselves together. Same thing for North America, and that was a test, because you can imagine, we have members, Budapest, Vichy, Baden-Baden. Of course, they are more used to the North American market, but then we have small towns, and if I just look here in Croatia, you don't really operate for the North American market. So, big surprise, also everything wonderful and happy. What we had as a learning, and just quickly, that we now know that about 1,000 people came to really, and booked actually a travel to our destinations. And now I'm running out of time, and I have 1:30 to show you a little video. I skipped this because, can I? Yeah? Okay. And then
These waters flow from deep in the earth, bubbling up with natural heat, laden with essential minerals. They relax every muscle. They heal your mind and body. But there's so much more to enjoy. Take in the beauty of spa architecture. Stroll through delightful gardens. Cycle through ancient woodlands. Experience thousands of years of spa tradition. Soak up theatre, concerts, and cultural festivals, or raise the stakes at the casino. Sleep comfortably in a cozy B&B, a fancy villa, or a grand hotel with thermal water on tap. Thermal Travels. Immerse yourself in the spa culture of Europe.
So now you know what it's all about, or you've seen it again. And I'm ending my journey, of course, coming back to Croatia. And just to share again that we have 3 Croatian members. Actually, from this year on, we added 2. It's Lipik, Varaždinske Toplice, and Daruvar. And I told you about what we have done this year. And one country is definitely now deserving an attention in the future, because we have done the press trips, we have done fem trips in the other European countries. And I'm very happy to share with you that we have plans for next year. And I can at least officially tell and announce that we have the okay and the green light from the European Travel Commission to host a FEM trip with up to 10 tour operators next year in Croatia. They will come from the US and Canada. And we have to combine it with a second country, but I'm very much looking forward to hosting the tour operators and bringing them to your country, and then talking about the health tourism here in Croatia as well. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Simone. Really nice news from you. Stay here with us on the stage because of the Q&A. I'm asking also Mariana and Vladimir, I'm inviting you to the stage, and we are ready for the Q&A session. Guys, are you ready to pose your questions? Do you have anything? Elizabeth is always in the first row. Very active and participative. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Maybe I should just have my own microphone?
Yeah, forever, like me.
Thank you for wonderful presentations again. Simona, a question for you. We know that in tourism versus health tourism or medical tourism, that the average, I'm sorry, Miroslav, that I talk about average. Sorry. The average tourist, the average medical and health tourist spends more and stays longer than your just regular tourist. What about the thermal tourist traveler? Do you know about their spend rates and lengths of stay?
No. Then that is it's the challenge again with the focus. We cannot really separate, and this is why, as an association for Europe, every country delivers different numbers. So it can be a cultural tourist consuming maybe even a health checkup, and we don't know about it.
Yeah.
Or it is a health tourist or a classic health tourist, and they are also coming for shorter or longer stay. So really tricky. No.
Okay. Maybe something to work on.
Maybe I can just answer not about the thermal parts, but our Institute of Tourism of Republic of Croatia made in 2019 an investigation about the average cost of daily spending in tourism and health tourism. And if we are talking about the tourism, we are between 90 to 120 euros. If we are talking about the health services are between 2,050 and 2,090 euros, or dental 480. So that's the difference, 2 times or 3.5 times more than average touristic spending for the person per day.
And maybe just as an addition, and I think this is really, Croatia is probably one of the leading countries where you even can diversify the segments of tourism, because
We
if I
still have the problem with it.
Yes, but if I can tell you from Germany, you know, if it's a business traveler, if you're lucky, but nothing else. So the countries do have complete different statistics and approaches, and that would be something helping all over Europe, for example, if you have a segmentation that is the same everywhere.
That's a reason why we need that data, the control of it with equipment, which now it's already established.
Yes.
We talked about it a lot.
Yes.
You get your question?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Any new questions? Maybe I would like to ask you, what is your, since you're two are organizers and you're here for the first time, Simone.
Yes.
Yeah. So what are your impressions of the conference? Now we are reaching really the very end of the conference. What is your high impression of the conference for these last 2 days? What would you say? Maybe you as a newcomer or you two as organizers. Tell us something that you will remember from this jubilee.
Well, as a newcomer, maybe I start. You know, listening to the presentations, which I really appreciate, really the high level and the quality and the great input. I'm processing, of course, what to share with the members, because my job at the end is, you know, to share best practices and to get that on the local level and share with them. So I'm very excited to, you know, just process afterwards and share, and definitely recommend more and more, as what I did already, but now the members to join and to.
And you will
Right.
say that people in Crikvenica live longer? Or
Yes.
each day a year longer?
Yeah, you know, the challenge with thermal towns is then they have an answer for you, like, okay, you live longer, but here you have, I don't know.
No, we have everything.
You are more you are more beautiful in that time, or so with the thermal waters,
we are
it's
more
difficult.
beautiful as well. Anything else, Mariana?
I think for the past 2 days, I learned a lot again. So I think that's the goal of the CIHT conference, to learn the best practices, the best experiences, to learn from the smarter people than yourself. So I think we did it again. I hope that all of you exchanged all your knowledge, experience, contacts, that you had great networking, and that you do some of that you learned in your practices. So I think the 10th CIHT conference was the best
edition.
Best edition. Yeah, I don't know if you agree with
I'm
me.
completely agree with Mariana. I'm quite sure that we reached those 3 goals I mentioned on the beginning of the conference. One is exchange of the knowledges and ideas. The second one is the business part and the networking. Of course, in the business, you never made the business on the first view. You need more views to do that. and the third part is have a good time, and we have it definitely.
You're a dancing panel.
All those,
Understood
all those
correctly.
points are reached, so
You
I
got
think
it
that we
all.
all can be satisfied, and we improved year by year.
Okay.
We have the survey. I'm sure that you get those pieces.
Evaluation
of papers.
forms. Yeah, please fill it up.
Evaluation form, and please fill it. Fill it. It's really important for us to know what is good and what we can improve.
Any more questions apart from music? I don't know where this music comes from.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, please.
I will first just an additional to, because we see what the bigger plans are for the cluster, and maybe just a suggestion, because in discussion with other people here, we are desperately seeking for Biotechnology Institute, maybe to Vladimir, just to think about it, because I think personally that you have all components here in this region, that why that should be in Zagreb. I think maybe suggestion in the future, just to think about it, the Biotechnology Institute here in this region. Just a suggestion.
Thank you for the suggestion, and of course, as I mentioned in my presentation, our idea is not to stay in this region, to spread on the national level, of course, because we are too small to do all on the best level, and of course, during the whole presentations, we see that there are lots of differences between the regions, states, religions, which is good. We need to use advantages of each region, not to be negative competitors, but positive competitors, because we will have the services which are much more useful for the final consumer. So I think that's the way on which we need to collaborate.
No competition, just cooperation. Vlasta, a question from your side. Here's the microphone.
I think it was fantastic. I enjoyed today very, very much. Everything we know about safety, what we must do, what we must improve. We know about news, about marketing, branding, trust, everything. And my recommendation, next time, invite investors, because we have programs, we have innovations, and on the same place, knowledge, experience, marketing, branding, everything, and only little bit that money will come.
We had investors
and then
yesterday.
we all will be more happy.
That's the reason why we have yesterday that panel in which we have 3 on-site and 1 online investors, and one of investors, possible investors, will present himself in a few minutes. So we, thank you, Vlasta, we think about, and that's the reason why we have the panel about that. We know that we need money for the ideas, so that's the way in which we will go further.
Prepare your business cards, because you never know when is the opportunity to give them away. And other questions, maybe? Yeah. Ira?
Hi, I just want to congratulate actually the excellent organizers team and dancing team as well. And we are missing Alfred here, and of course there are so many people who helped it happen. Where is Alfred?
He's here. He's here.
He's hiding. Ah, okay.
Dancing panel is here.
You should be also here now for a dancing panel, but okay. I know that you were lazy today. So I just wanted to congratulate once more for the 10th actually edition, the Jubilee. Moreover, since I remember when before it all started, the conversations and how you actually started into doing this conference, and this is really amazing, and really congratulations, and especially I think you need awards for the dancing queen and king like you were last night. I'm impressed.
Thank you. In the name of Mariana and myself, thank you, Leila, to mention that I want to thank you, the whole organizing team, because there are lots of people who you see, and through their work, everything works very well. So thank you all. And behind and behind the scene, because without them, the whole conference will not be on that level, which is. Thank you for all you said about
that's
that.
nice.
I want to thank them on my behalf also, because they are really great, and without them, I don't know if we would manage to do it so good and so successful.
And
it's nice music
nice
from
music,
the end of the conference.
From the heart, from the heart.
I'm guilty about that. That's my phone.
Oh, that's your phone.
It's an alarm.
To finish. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Just a brief question. The plans. Do we see each other for the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? We'll be here on the same stage?
Of course.
What are your plans?
Of course. We are planning to do that in the next decade also.
Okay.
And
don't sell the
even,
project
yeah,
now that you're so successful. Stay with us.
We are many weeks here, which means that we will live
200 years. Okay, one big round of applause for all of our guests and for all of our speakers. Thank you so much. It's time to end this conference. Thank you so much for participating, and I'm definitely positive that we see each other also on this very stage the next year. Thank you, guys, and thank you everybody who is watching us online. See you then next year here in Crikvenica, and you will live forever. Goodbye, guys, and see you.
I would just ask you for two more things. We have one presentation which will be on site, so I invite Selce and Ilan on the stage to present the VMARSH organization and how we cooperate with the cluster, and afterwards it will be the workshop which Leila will guide. So please, a few minutes for your attention. Thank you. So we don't want to let you go. Stay.
Don't go away.
Life by 4 months.
But at 3:15, you know that you have to go to the winery.
That's very important, right?
That's the most important.
Okay, so basically what is happening here is that, we see a lot of experts that come and talk in conferences. One of the things that, in my experience, and believe me, I've been to I don't know how many countries and how many conferences, but one of the things that I'm always concerned about is that people come to conferences, they go back to their offices, and they just went to a conference. That's it. What about the implementations? What about the plans for the future? When I say we, I'm talking about Sandeep and myself. I became part of the VMARSH Healthcare Consulting Services Company, which is based in Dubai, with offices in Mumbai, in Cairo. I am the US representative in Chicago. And we have decided that we are going to provide consulting services, advice, and make all the things that you are listening to in these conferences help you to implement them. So basically, it's not going to be, just because we are good people and we are offering services for free to the whole world. That's not the idea. But the idea is that we have an incredible bank of experts that will be available for you. I'll just mention a couple of names. In some of the conferences that we had in the past, we had guests from Malaysia. The lady who used to be the CEO of the MHTC, the Malaysia Healthcare Travel Council, is now our representative in Malaysia and Asia Pacific. So you have, for example, that kind of a talent that could be at your disposal. One of the consultants that is now collaborating with us, we have from JCI, the immediately, resigning CEO or chairman of the board of JCI has just joined forces with us. The previous CEO of JCI is now part of our team as well. So I'm talking about people, the caliber of people that are at our disposal. We can just call them, make them part of a team, and put them to your service. we have those people. And this is a global force. I mean, anybody here can call KPMG, pay them $500,000, and you will get a stack of papers, big one, okay? And whether you will implement them or not, we don't know. We are capable of making some of the plans that were presented here. We're really capable of making them happen for you. As a cluster, together, as one body, and as individual members. So we are happy. We are very proud that the Kvarner cluster has decided to sign an MOU with us, and we really look forward to the future to work with all of you together and individually. And Sandeep, if you want to add something,
yes,
please.
Thank you, Ilan. So one of the questions we got, feedbacks we just got was we should invite investors next year. And the answer to that is with our partnership with Kvarner Health Cluster, I'm getting there, Health Cluster, and Vladimir and the whole team is to understand the beauty of what this region can provide. Because when we look at it from a global perspective, there is so much innovation, there is so much for the globe to learn from this region, and we endeavor to take that to different parts of the world, because when we talk about Croatia to people in, let's say, in a Saudi Arabia or in a Thailand or even a Central America, people are like, wow, you know, forget Game of Thrones, forget FIFA, but people know Croatia as a place to go and rejuvenate, relax, and come back to their best shape and form. And that obviously, in one word, means wellness, you know. And from that point of view, we are right now working in two areas. One is to help people who want to invest in this region by bringing them here, by making them realize what this region has as a potential in wellness. And the other way around is taking a lot of talent from here to different places. And when I say that, we are talking about opening wellness center of excellences in different parts of the world, which will be run by this very cluster and all the members to teach how it can actually be imbibed into the day-to-day healthcare services. So that's the aim of our partnership. You know, so we just in 5-6 lines, we are an advisory consulting firm, and if I just skip through all the extra details, we are mostly in two areas: consulting and facilitation. In consulting, we operate in 3 areas because I spoke to many of you individually, so I think it's a good platform to summarize. We are in areas of strategy, quality, and transactions. So if you look at our services, they are quite well spread to what we do in all these areas. And when we talk about medical tourism, wellness, patient experience, patient safety, I think all our 3 services touch upon them. So if you look at strategy, it's a lot to do with identifying what an organization or a regulator can do well, what is the long-term mission and vision, and from that we draw a map to which areas or regions they should focus on. Within those areas and regions, what are the best ways to, you know, make people aware of what you have to offer. And from there we then get into the whole detail of strategy, the business plan, the manpower plan of it, the supply chains, and all of it, as Ilan mentioned, that, you know, we typically do what a big 4 consulting firm as KPMG, PwC does, but the only difference is they have 1 or 2 senior members and a lot of junior consultants implementing them, whereas with us, we have about 45 very senior consultants with anywhere experiences between 15 years to 45 years in areas of manpower, transformation, medical tourism, all the services that you see listed on the screen. One of our key areas is quality, as he just mentioned, that, you know, we have a powerhouse of people from JCI. I myself am a member of board with Global Healthcare Accreditation, and we had few meetings here where we realized that people want to go ahead with accreditations, but I think we all need to first stop and understand that what's the objective out of the accreditation. Are you looking to improve your quality, your processes? Are you looking to attract medical tourists? And from that, you should determine what's the best accreditation for you. Is it the national accreditation? Do you even need the JCI and want to spend so much time and invest to climb that steep slope, or you can work with something which is more focused on your objective. So we do a lot of things on preparing organizations, which include government and private sector, for accreditations. And if you don't need accreditations, even simpler things like patient safety protocols, patient improvement plans, clinical operational audits. So that's what makes our quality bucket, and transaction is a lot to do with what the question was, which is investment. So taking people from here to different regions, bringing them here, because when we say we want to expand, a lot of people feel that we have to set up the brick and mortar everywhere. And I had a few meetings in Zagreb where I was told that we want to enter Middle East. Where should we build? And I said, the question is, do you even need to build? You know, when you have so much of exchanges going on, you can very well look at opening a center of excellence there, bringing people here. There are various models. So that's what we focus on, the transaction side of our services. So that's pretty much it. I will not bore all of you because I can smell the wine myself. So just skipping through, Ilan already mentioned, we have 5 offices: Chicago, Cairo, Dubai, Mumbai, and Kuala Lumpur. You see 2 faces, the more handsome guy on my right, but there are other people in our team. Shireen, as Ilan mentioned, was a speaker previously, and some of our key people. So we are very divided to have people in different geographies, but have their own functional backgrounds. So these are the key members, but of course we have a number of impaneled, very senior experts with us. And we've done projects all across, so I'll skip that. And we have certain partners for certain areas where we bring in the best to collaborate and implement a lot of things which we advise, because we don't want to be consultants who just give you PowerPoints and data. We want to tell you that this is the data, let's implement it. And for implementation, we bring in our partners. So that's it. That's all I have to say. If you'd like to stay for 1 more hour, we can.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandeep. Ilan, we open the doors with a memorandum of understanding between cluster and VMARSH, depends on the members of the cluster, as well as we as association and other in Croatia and abroad who wants to that memorandum work on, and lines are open. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We know at least it's a big fund. Thank you. Leila, izvoli. Ja ću te na ja. A idemo na hrvatski, ili tako, na hrvatski smo.
Moguće engleski vidim koliko ima.
Okay, so Leila wants that I introduce her, so I will introduce her as my friend. And that's enough. So now, and dancing partner. So now she's on position of director of the New York branch of Croatian Touristic Board, and she will have a short workshop, and I will be the part of that workshop, and the content she will explain you in the next few minutes. Thank you, Leila, to be with us.
Thank you. Great. Thank you. Hello, everyone. If you allow, I can combine a bit of English at the very beginning, because also the slides are in English and it's aimed to, to everyone. However, the goal of this workshop is not that I speak too much. The goal is to hear you from the Croatian companies, especially private sector, but also public sector or mixed ones like a cluster. We'll have to share very nice information with all of us. I would like actually to gather information in order to be more at disposal and more focused in what I will be doing in promoting health.